Guys, welcome to ninth grade SHSAT Alpha Digital Practice Platform, and welcome to Tariq's class as well. So this is one of the tests from my Alpha platform on tariqsclass.com. So this is test number 1. This is a section called Advanced Math. So I have this section here, Advanced Math Practice. So we're doing test number 1. And in this test, what I'm doing is going over some questions that are very important and harder ones because, ninth grade SHSAT is a bit tricky one. So let's start with this question. First you try, see if you know what it is. So I'm going to go over some concept of it. Let's pay attention. So it says the figure above shows a parabola going downward. So a parabola like this. It's going downward. What is the value of A? A is just technically the y-intercept. So it's going like this. A is this y-intercept. You see the y-axis? The intercept here. What is this point? They want to know. So, here this is 0. So it's 0, comma A. We don't know what A is. But we know the vertex, the top part of it is 1, comma 4. We know this here is 3. And here it's -1. So first of all, when we deal with the equation of a line, it's y equal to mx plus b, right? But when you deal with the quadratic equations, like parabola like that, the equation of this parabola is y equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay? A, B, C are just the random numbers. Now, like for example, it could be like y equal to 2x squared plus 5x plus 6, something like that. So A would be 2, B would be 5, C would be 6. This is one way to write the equation of the parabola. It's also called quadratic equation. So another way of writing the quadratic equation is, by the way, this is called standard form. So this is how usually it looks like. But it can look another different way, like y equal to a times x minus h squared plus k. Okay? This format here, this is called vertex form. What do you mean by vertex form? You see the h and k, it is vertex. What is vertex? You see the top point here, 1 and 4? That's the vertex. That's the vertex we're going to use. So h and k, h is 1 and k is 4. Okay? So all you have to do is, on this vertex form, you just plug in. So this a, by the way, it's a different a from the one on the image. So we don't know what this a is yet. But x and y could be any of the points. We could use this point. This is 3, 0. And this point is -1, 0. So either way, this is x, y. So the vertex form is y equal to 8 times x minus h squared plus k. So where x and y, we can use this point here, 3, 0. So x is 3, and for y, we're going to plug in 0. H and k, we're going to use the vertex, which is 1. H is the 1. And k is the 4. Okay, so all I'm doing is, this is the vertex form. You have to memorize it, and then you start plugging in whatever you know. We didn't know what a is, but we knew what y is, x, and h and k. So let's start solving. 3 minus 1 is 2 squared plus 4. 2 squared is 4a plus 4 equal to 0. We can minus 4 both sides. And at the end, we get -4 equal to 4a, and divide both sides by 4. So a is equal to -1. Okay, so a is equal to -1. But by the way, this a is not the same a as this. Okay, that a is the y-intercept. To find that, we will have to plug it in. So a is -1. That a is this a on the vertex form. So let's look into it. So let's write more. So now we know the vertex form is y equal to, now we know what a is. So -1 x minus h and k, we already know h is 1 square plus k is 4. So this is how the equation of the parabola looks like. Now what they want to know, what is a? Remember that a here is the y-intercept. Y-intercept means here x is 0. What is the y? A. So I'm going to plug that in here. So x is 0. To find y-intercept, we always plug in x equal to 0. So I'm going to make this x here 0. Okay? Everything else, I keep it as it is. This y here, you can plug in a, because we're plugging in this point. You know, these are like the function type of questions, quadratics, a lot of plugging in. So this here, it's 0 comma a. So x is the 0 and y is the a. You can plug in instead of y, you can put a. So, okay, now let's just solve it. So a is equal to the 0 minus 1, negative 1 squared is just 1, positive 1. Positive 1 times negative 1 is again negative 1, plus 4. So a is equal to 3. That's the answer. Okay, let's look at the steps before we move on. So here, a bunch of things we knew. This is the vertex. So this is one thing you must know. And then this is the y-intercept. It's called y-intercept because this point is intercepting the y. So these are called x-intercepts. These are also called zeros, like where you see the 3 and negative 1. If you solve the quadratic equation, the solution is the zeros, like 3 and negative 1. These are also called x-intercept, where y is the 0, and y-intercept where x is the 0. So the most important part here to remember is the vertex form, y equal to a times x minus h squared plus k, and then you just plug in. For x and y, we plugged in 3 comma 0, and for a, we didn't know what it is, and h and k is the vertex. Remember, vertex. So that's 1 comma 4. H and k is the vertex. So 1 and the 4, and then we just solve for a, and then we rewrite the equation. This time we know what a is, and then we plug in again. So it's just plug in. So the formula and plug in. So let's write down what we needed to know in this equation, in this question. So y equal to a x minus h squared plus k, where h comma k is the vertex. We also learned if you want to find y-intercept, set x equal to 0. If you want to find x-intercept, set y equal to 0. That's pretty much it for this question. Okay, let's look at the next question, which looks scary, but it is not. So it's like an equation for the ideal gas that makes the transition. So it says the a state with the pressure P1. So P1 is pressure, volume is V1, and another state with the pressure of P2 and volume of V2. So P is the pressure, V is the volume. Okay, so they're saying this is the equation, P1, V1, P2, V2. So what is this thing on the top? Looks like a Y. So where this is the molar ratio, heat capacities. Okay, this is the molar ratio. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. Whatever it looks like, but it represents the molar ratio heat capacity. Okay, now a gas-air mixture with a pressure of 1.0. The pressure is given, then the volume of 200 is given, and then compressed to another volume is given. Okay, so since a lot of things are given and the equation is given, so what we need to do is start plugging in. So I'm going to write the equation. So P1, V1, and this Y-looking thing, okay, is the power. So P2, V2, and the Y-looking thing. Now, where this is the molar ratio, okay, so we're going to start plugging in. So first they said the pressure is 1.0 times 10 power 5. So we're going to plug that in. Where volume is 200, so V1 is 200. Now the P2, we don't know that. They said was compressed to the volume of 50. P2, we don't know that. But we know that the volume is 50. And then the molar ratio of the heat capacity is 1.4. So this is 1.4, 1.4. Okay. So the next part is to solve for the pressure. So what is the pressure of the compressed gas? So what is P2? But look at the options. So the 1.4 thing just stayed in every option most likely. So let's see what we can do. First of all, 1 times 10 power 5 is just 10 power 5. Then times 200 times 1.4 equal to P2, 50 times 1 power 1.4. Okay, so you see they're all in multiplication. So I can divide both sides by 50 power 1.4. So these cancel out. So I have P2 equal to 10 power 5. And 200 and over 50, they both have power 1.4. So let me tell you another rules. So if you have, let's say 2 power 4 over 3 power 4, right? So you can write it as 2 over 3 power 4, means you do the division first and keep the power. So we can do the same. So we can divide the 200 by 50 because they have the same power. So 200 divided by 50 is 4, and we keep the power 1.4, and that's pretty much it. Okay, very simple. And the answer is option A. All right, let's take a look. So this was the equation, and we started plugging P1 volume molar ratio, P2 volume molar ratio. And this one we didn't really do anything, 10 power 5 just stayed there. And main point is we had to divide both sides by 50 power 1.4. And division, this is what you have to know, that you could divide the 250 and keep the power on top instead of keeping separate power. Okay, that's pretty much it for this question. Let's look at this question. This is important. This comes on the test a lot. It says, in the xy plane, line A is given by the equation 4x equal to 24 minus 5y. What is the slope of the line parallel to this? So some of you may not, some of you already might know this. So let's answer this. So what it says is, okay, let's move it a little bit to the right. Okay. So it says, the equation of the line is 4x equal to 24 minus 5y. You should know by now the equation of the line is y equal to mx plus b. That's how it looks like, okay? Where, let's talk about this part a little bit. M stands for slope, and b stands for y-intercept, right? And x and y are just the points. The slope and y-intercept. Like you remember, the equation of the parabola was looking like y equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. What other way to write the equation of the parabola? Y equal to a times x minus h squared plus k. Remember the vertex h and k. So these are a couple things you must memorize about. Mainly equation of the line and the parabola are the two important things, okay? And here, let's go back to the equation of a line, y equal to mx plus b. This position next to the x, the number, we call it a slope, okay? So let's say the line is 4x equal to 24 minus 5y. So first of all, the equation of a line should start with y. So we're going to solve for y here, like shifting it around. So I can bring this negative 5y to the left side, you know, by doing plus 5y both sides. So it'll be 5y here. And this plus 4x to the right side, it'll be minus 4x. And the 24, I'll keep it as it is. And then I'll divide by 5 each and every one of them. So y equal to negative 4 over 5. X plus 24 over 5. That's the y-intercept. Means when you graph it, it's going to pass through the y-intercept here, this number. But that's not what we're interested in. We're interested in this slope, because there is another line which is parallel to this. So the rule is when the two lines are parallel, that means their slope is correct, equal. So y equal to negative 4 over 5x plus 24 over 5. The equation that is parallel to this will be y equal to negative 4 over 5x plus whatever, we don't know that. But the two lines will be parallel, like another line will pass by this. They have same slope means the tiltness, they will be same tilted. So they're gonna have same slope. So slope has to be negative 4 over 5. So answer is C. Okay. Now the next question we're gonna work on. There are a lot of good questions on this. So it has explanations too. So there are more questions. Okay, let's try this question number 27 here. It's from the Alpha platform. So this is about the power. So if square root of a power 5 is equal to a power 2k, and then they said a has to be greater than 0, so we can just ignore this. How do you simplify? What is the value of k? So how it works is the square root actually means power half. What do you mean by that? So let's say square root of a means a power half. Square root of x means x power half. Okay, so that's the rules for the square root. So I have a square root and a power 5. So the a has two powers, 1/2 and the 5 both. On the other side, a has 2k. So both sides, the base is a and a, so we can just remove it. So 1/2 times 5 is just 5 over 2 equal to 2k. And then you just have to divide both sides by 2. So 5 over 2 divided by 2 over 1, it's just keep change flip. So it's 5 over 4, that's 1.25. So A is the answer. It is that easy, okay guys? So the two powers, so we have a half and a 5. So that's pretty much it. So, and then take out the basis and then set it up. Now, let's understand this a little bit more. So when you have square root of a, then 5, you can write it as a half times 5. You can write it as a 5 first, then the half. You can write as square root a 5 outside. You can write as 5 inside, square root outside. They're all same things. Okay? That's what was this question. Okay, let's try this question. It says 32 here from Alpha platform. Function. So f of x equal to negative 0.1 x plus 4 square plus 11.3. Function, the first thing you think about is I can just plug in something. You have to. Now, most of the time. So what is the y-intercept of this function? Remember, y-intercept, if you want to find, what do? You plug in set x equal to 0. Okay, so let's do that. Negative 0.1. 0 plus 4 square plus 11.3. So f of x is the same thing as y, okay? You can write it as y or not, doesn't matter. So negative 0.1, this is 4 squared is 16 plus 11.3. What is 16 times 1? That's negative 1.6, okay? And 11.3, so we just have to subtract. So that's 13, this is 0, this is 10. Okay, 13 minus 6 is 7, right? And 10 minus 1 is 9. So 9.7, yeah. C is the answer, the third one. All I had to do is plug in 0 for x. That's all we need to do for the questions that are asking for y-intercept. Let's work on more function questions. So there is one more function question. So f of x equal to x power 3 plus ax squared plus b. So remember, function means we mostly just plug in. So f of x passing through the point, they give us a point 1, 4. They give us another point, f of 0 equal to 5. They said when x is 0, y is going to be 5. This is another way of writing the point. So when you have f of 0 equal to 5, what it meant is 0, 5. Okay? So, for example, if you write f of 2 equal to 3, that means 2, 3. That's the point. Because this is whatever is inside this parenthesis is considered x, and this outcome will be y. Okay? So they have given us 2 points. So 0, 4 and 0, 5. Well, I mean 1, 4 and 0, 5. So I'm going to plug in the first one, 1, 4. So 4 is the y, and x is the 1. So f of x means y. Remember I told you? So plug in 4 equal to x means 1 power 3 plus a, we don't know what that means, but but we can try. Okay, just leave it alone. But x is just 1, so 1 square plus b, we don't know what it means. So 1 power 3 is 1 plus a plus b. We can do minus 1 both sides. So I see that a plus b is 3. Okay. All right, so could we do anything else? No. So let's try the other point. So let's write the equation again. So I'm going to plug in 0 and 5. So y is the 5, 0, 0, b, we don't know. Okay, so 0, 0. Okay, so b is just 5. All right, that does the job. So if b is 5, we can plug it in here. So a plus 5, or we can do minus 5 both sides. So a is just negative 2. So b is 5. So what is the positive difference between them? Positive difference would be what? So the difference between a and b could be negative 2 to 5. So that's 7 points. So 7. So a is the answer. 7 is the answer. These are really nice questions. Okay, let's try one more function questions. So we have g of x equal to x squared plus 16. It says y equal to g of 2x. So what is g of 2x? It means we're just going to replace the x with 2x. So I have here x. So I'm going to replace it with 2x. Let's see how does it come out with. 2 squared is 4x squared plus 16. Okay, that's g of 2x. Okay. Now it says y equal to 2 times g of x. Well, 2 times g of x will be like this. Means whatever the g of x is multiplied by 2. Okay. So it's 2x squared if I distribute times 32. All right. Now they said they have 2 common points. So common point means and at one point they will intersect. So something like this or whatever it is. They're both upward. So 2 common points. So how does it work? So 2 common points, you can set them up equal to each other because when they're common points means they're equal to each other, the graphs. So 4x squared plus 16 is equal to 2x squared plus 32 minus 16 both sides. Okay. I can do minus 2x squared both sides as well. So that gives me 2x squared equal to 16 divided by 2 divided by 2. So x squared equal to 8. You can square root both sides. So x equal to plus minus square root of 8. The plus minus, when you square root both sides, there are going to be 2 answers. One is plus, one is minus. Now they said, what is the distance between these 2 points? The plus and the minus one. Okay. By the way, square root of 8 means, if you simplify it, square root of 4 times square root of 2. And square root of 4 is 2 square root of 2. So it's plus and minus. So if you look into the number line, one is a negative 2 radical 2 and a positive 2 radical 2. So what is the difference between them? So in between is a 0. Okay, so negative 2 radical 2 to positive 2 radical 2, it's the distance is 4 radical 2. So because 2 radical 2 minus negative 2 radical 2, so the 2 negative will be positive, so it's 4 radical 2. Like, you know, when you have, let's say if you want to find distance between negative 2 and 2, it's 4 because 0 to negative 2 is negative 2, 2 and then 2 more, so 4. Or you could do the 2 minus negative 2, that's 4. Similarly, the distance between negative 2 radical 2 and 2 radical 2 is actually 4 radical 2. So that's why option A is the answer, the first one. So as you can see, all we did is we plugged in the 2x and then 2 times the g of x and then set them equal to each other, solve for x. Square root of 8 means 4 times 2. Square root of 4 times square root of 2, and square root of 4 means 2 radical 2, plus and minus. And the distance between, they say what is the distance between them? So which is distance is just you minus it. That's how you find distance. Okay, so that was the question number, what, 34. This is another nice question. It says the center of the 4 congruent tangent circle is touching. The area of the shaded is 36 minus 9 pi. So area of the shaded is the area of the square, which is 36, minus the 9 pi, must be the area of the circle, the 4 part of the circle. Well, this is the explanation here. Okay. So we can maybe pause and see if that works. Okay. What do you see? Okay. So there are more questions here. Sequence, a lot of things to learn. And this is the advanced section, by the way, guys. I have the section where it's the basic. So this is a test 1 alpha. Here you have to put the password, and that will show you exactly, that will start the timer. And then this is an ELA exam. These you can always highlight them the way you want. Practice plus answering the question. So this is the test is showing answers, so you can delete, clear it up. The timer will start. Now you can make highlighting it, highlighting the question. And this is like a new system, so you have to answer one question to get to the next, and you won't be able to go back. So I just try to keep it as it is, the new practice test. I mean the new actual SHSAT test. So we have the vocabulary flashcards. So 5 sets are already here. Many more questions are coming in, inshallah. So delineate, what does it mean? It means defining something. And you can practice. There are 100 vocabulary words in each set. So you can start practicing, okay? And if you get it right, press it correct. And then correct at the end, it will show you the answers. So there are videos practicing the poems, ELA grammar, and daily audio recording. So students can record, like this was today's, the reading comprehension every day. So for example here, this one, they can highlight and start recording. This will record and then send this recording to me, so I can hear. This is like a daily reading recording. So this section is so that you stay active. Like I have this one section that's called time to practice. This is also for me to keep it so you guys stay sharp. So there are a lot of practice tests. I will say these advanced tests you practice, there are a lot more. Advanced test number 10. So in test number 10, you can see more questions. These are not easy questions meant for SHSAT, the 9th grade SHSAT. And those who are taking the SHSAT this year, they can also learn from it, but they don't need a lot of function and stuff. That's mainly for 9th grade SHSAT. This is a nice one, this question, if you want to see the answers, let's just look at it. You can go here, take a look. Explanations are there. All right, guys. So this is the alpha platform. This one is highly recommended for those who are taking the 9th grade SHSAT. I'm not even joking. This is completely loaded with proper materials that you need to take the SHSAT. I keep adding more and more. There are more practices coming up. Like about more than 10 practice tests is on the line, getting ready to enter the alpha platform. So if also another thing about this alpha platform is I have this SHSAT community thing, the 9th grade SHSAT. So you can always communicate with me through the alpha platform, and you can text me and through that ask me questions about the 9th grade test, or if any questions you have, you can screenshot it, upload it. There are a lot of features in it. Plus there's this new feature I'm adding now where you can use, you see the notepad to write stuff, like do the math right underneath. You can have text, whatever you're gonna say. Let's say alpha, or you want to say anything such as uploading pictures, change colors. Obviously this is nice color, I guess. And then you can move a lot of notepads, a lot of features, guys. So as I will say, you keep practicing through the alpha platform and keep taking practices. Stay connected to me. Those who take the alpha platform, I consider them as my students. I want you to do really well, and whatever you need, You can keep communicating. I can help you throughout your journey. This platform will be with you until the test. And of course, if you already taken the test, you can recommend others. I have another one for SHSAT 2. It's called Sigma platform. And one for SAT, it's called Apex. So these are my strong tools. They're very good. Thank you very much for watching. And I pray that it's easy for you, the test coming up. And if you have any questions, leave a comment or join the Alpha platform. Thank you so much.